Hey, okay, I'm not sure if you remember what I said yesterday about lesson 120 or in yesterday's video. That basically you're gonna see weird lessons until the end. So welcome to another weird one, okay? Look, it says graph 1 is less than or equal to negative 1 over x minus 4, domain is reals, okay? One thing you have to be aware of is, first of all, even though all x's can be reals, it cannot be 4. Because look at this, if it's 4, 4 minus 4 is 0, 0, and the denominator is not allowed. Okay, so it cannot be 4. So let's just remember that. X cannot be 4. Okay, now you look at this one, let's put this in parentheses, and you say, Miss Jessica, this is not as hard as it looks. All you have to do is multiply this over here, little crisscross and multiply, right? No, it cannot be like that. I thought it was like that before I started looking at this lesson, trying to figure out what in the world they were asking me to do. By the way, this is not my first time teaching this book, but for some reason I always forget these lessons at the back of the book. That's okay. Okay, so you cannot just multiply this over here like you would do before. You want to know why? Because we don't know if doing this is a negative number or not. What if this has a negative value? Then we have to flip this little thing over, but we don't know if it's negative, so you can't do that. So there's another solution. You multiply this side by x minus 4 squared and this side by x minus 4 squared. Believe me on this one. Because while you want to really multiply by x minus 4, you don't know if it's positive or negative, so what can you do? You can multiply 2 of the x minus 4 because the square, multiplying 2 of everything is always going to be positive. Okay, multiplying 2 of the same number is always going to be positive. 2 negatives or 2 positives, so you're always going to be positive. So, I'm going to write it out like this. X minus 4 times x minus 4, x minus 4 times x minus 4, and then watch what happens. Over here, one of them cancels, and you're left with just 1. Negative 1 times x is going to give you a negative x plus 4, because it's negative 1 times negative 4, which is positive 4. Over here, we're going to get x squared minus 8x plus 16, right? Okay, then we put everything to one side to have 0 over here. So that's going to be 8x. Positive x is going over here, so it's going to be negative 7x. Negative 4 is going over here, so that's going to be a positive 12 is greater than or less than 0, okay? So we didn't have to flip this sign because we had a positive now. So now we're going to factor out. What factors of 12 are going to add up to equal negative 7? That's going to be a negative 4 and a negative 3. Okay? Is greater than is less than or equal to 12, to 0. Okay, that means, guys, that one of these numbers is going to have to be positive and one of these numbers is going to have to be negative because you have to have something less than 0, right? So you have to add either a positive, multiply either a positive and a negative or a negative and a positive, right? Well, we don't know which one's going to work. So what are we going to do? Let's take x minus 3 has to be a negative, but x minus 4 has to be a positive, or x minus 3 has to be a positive, and x minus 4 can be the negative. Okay? There's 2 options here, right? Told you it was weird. Okay, so this is going to be x is less than or equal to 3, and x is greater than or equal to 4. Well, is that possible? Can something be less than negative 3 but greater than positive 4? No. Let's look over here. So this is going to be greater than positive 3 but less than positive 4. Can you have that? Can you have greater than a 3 but less than a 4? Yes, you can. So on your number line, you're going to have a 3 and a 4. This is included, but remember, it could not be 4, so the 4 is not included, but it's somewhere in the middle here. All I can say is that if you didn't understand what I just said there, go back and watch it again because I don't know how else to tell you. By just repeating the steps is all I can do. Okay, so I'm just going to go through the steps really quick again. We needed to get this off of the denominator, so we wanted to multiply it over here, but we don't know if it's positive or negative. To prevent the confusion on whether or not we need to switch this symbol, we're going to multiply by a square of what we need to on both sides, okay? Over here, it eliminates itself. Over here, we square it, so we get this cool equation. We move this over here to make it 0 on this side, so we can factor. Looking at this, telling us that it has to be negative. This either can be a positive negative or a negative positive. So we go with this is negative, this is positive, but that came out with a solution that doesn't make any sense. Or this is positive and this is negative, and that came out with a viable solution. Except for the fact that we have to remember that because this will make it a 0, if it has a 4, it cannot be 4, but it can be anything less than that and greater than 3. Okay, let's do example 2. Okay, here we go. Let's start out with the same principles we knew from the last one. First of all, D is reals, but remember, not X. M cannot be a negative 2 because that would make this 0 on the bottom. Okay, we're tempted to just multiply over here, but we need to remember we need to multiply by m plus 2 times m plus 2 to keep it positive. Okay, so we can eliminate one of the m plus 2's over here. So we have m squared. Okay, plus 2m minus 2m, so it's going to cancel out, and then minus 4. Less than or equal to, this is going to be m squared plus 4m plus 4, but we need to multiply it by 2, so it's 2m squared plus 8m plus 8. Okay, then we move everything over to one side. It really doesn't matter which way you go with it. So let's do it how the book did it, just so that we can always be watching ourselves and making sure that we're doing it right. So basically, they put the 0 on this side. Okay. So we're going to make this a negative m squared over there and a positive 4 over here. That's going to be 0 is greater or less than or equal to m squared plus 8m plus 12. Right? We can write this again the way that they did in the book, which is just moving this over here. 0. There we go. Just whoop, putting everything on the other side. Okay. This is m plus 4. No. M plus 6 and m plus 2 is going to be greater than or equal to 0. Just so we have 0 on this side, always on the right-hand side. By the way, that's why I did that. The factors of 12 that are going to add up to equal 8 are 6 and 2. So here we go. That means that they have to be positive. So that's either going to be 2 positives or 2 negatives, right? So that means we have m plus 6 is greater than or equal to 0, or m plus 2 is greater than or equal to 0. For them to both be positive, right? So that's going to be m is greater than or equal to negative 6, and m is greater than or equal to negative 2. Okay, well watch this. If something is greater than negative 2, then something has to be greater than negative 6. Everything that's greater than negative 6 is also going to be greater than negative 2. So it is not necessary to say that everything must be, look what it says right here. Any number greater than negative 2 is also going to be greater than negative 6. That's what I meant to say, sorry. Anything that's greater than negative 2 is also greater than negative 6, because remember the number line. If negative 2 is here, then negative 1 is greater than negative 6, 0 is greater than negative 6, 1 is greater than negative 6. So we can just eliminate this. This is redundant because anything that's greater than negative 2 is going to be greater than negative 6. So we're using this one over here. But now everything can also be negative. So we're going to do x plus 6 is less than or equal to 0, and m plus 2 is less than or equal to 0. So that's m is also less than or equal to negative 6, and m is less than or equal to negative 2, right? Well, anything that is less than negative 6 is also less than negative 2. So this one we can cross out, and then this one we can keep. So now we need to do a number line. We can do it right here. Negative 6 here, negative 2 there. It has to either be greater than negative 2 or less than negative 6, okay? But remember, it cannot be negative 2, so we're going to do it this way. There you go, just like that, okay? To truly test the understanding of this very weird lesson, go ahead and do your practice and we'll check it together. Okay guys, so here's your answer right here. Greater than 1 but less than 3, both of them are not included because of this right here, but also we know that it couldn't be 3 anyway because of the denominator. Okay, so look what I did. I multiplied x minus 3 times x minus 3, x minus 3 times x minus 3. I eliminated this one. So around this side, it's negative 2x times positive 6. Over here, it's x squared minus 6x plus 9. Move this over here to make it 0 on this side, and x squared minus 4x plus 3. The factors of 3, they're going to add up to equal negative 4 or negative 1 and 3. That have to become a negative number. So either that means that we're going to be multiplying a positive and a negative or a negative and a positive. So over here I did, this is negative, this is positive, and I got x is less than 3 and x is greater than 1. But over here when I do that, this is positive and that is negative, I get x is greater than 3 and x is less than 1. This one doesn't make any sense. There's no number that can be greater than 3 and less than 1. But over here, this does make sense, that it can be less than 3 and greater than 1, which is what I graphed. And I rejected this one. Okay? There you go. If you have any questions, just let me know. I know it's weird, but thanks for your perseverance. Bye.